Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is Karmaka by Eddy Boxerman. And I was talking with Eddie, great name by the way, about this game because it was a big Kickstarter and it was in the market and thinking about reprints. And we were talking and I had said I never played it, so he sent me a copy and now I've played it a few times. First, the game is gorgeous, the components are really nice, the quality's there, and all of the card art is just super cool. Second, it is really evocative. It's about death and rebirth and reincarnation, and the mechanic and theme combination is super interesting and thinky and complex. It really has this sort of layered, what are you doing now, what are you doing in the future, what's going to happen when you die vibe to it that feels unique and fresh and engaging. And so that all works. It's got a bit of take that and blockage that happens in the game, which is not for everyone, but I was really impressed with how it sort of told that narrative of starting as the dung beetle and moving up to transcendence. Now, essentially in this game, what you're doing is all cards have abilities, and there are blue cards, green cards, and in here are red cards, and they all have different vibes, but essentially the way the game works is on any given turn, you want to score points with one type of card. Basically, to move up, to regenerate and be reborn and move up, reincarnate, not regenerate, you need 4, 5, 6, 7 points in a single color. So effectively what you're doing is you're trying to pick a color for that life. And what you're going to be doing is 2, 4, 6. You have your hand, and you have three. On your turn, you're going to draw a card, and you have three choices. You have your hand. You can play what's called a deed and a card in front of you. All you're doing is you're getting the point in that case. You can play a card as essentially for its ability, which means you're going to play it near the draw pile. And in that case, you get the text at the bottom, and they're really interesting. Hand exchange, look to the future, move the past, thwart another player. But when you play an ability, it becomes open and for use of other players, or you could play something to the future for your next hand. And in that case, you'd often play a different color. So if I'm like playing blue here, I'd be playing green to the future, because next turn I'm going to try to play green. Once you reincarnate, you then draw up from the future deck and the rest of the cards into your hand. So that becomes part of your cards. The interesting thing is you're playing this game, you're building up, and when you run out of cards from your hand, and everything's been played, you basically die. And when you die, you tally up these points, and if you have enough points, you move up the ladder. If you don't have enough points, you get one of these rings, which makes it easier in the subsequent turns. But boy, I have to say, it is awful to not have enough points. And that's really one of the challenges in this game. It's got this take that element to it, which is interesting and complex. Again, pulling from your future, pulling from your life, your deeds, swapping, removing, burning, all this stuff's going on. But not leveling up to the next level hurts. And it just slows you down. So the take that really, it's not that it's overtly cruel, it's just the impact can really knock you down. And you're like, it's like everyone's climbing this ladder to transcendence and you're getting knocked down by other players, and each rung feels like a pretty rough. So that's one thing to get over. The other interesting thing about this game is that they have this limbo step where you like die and then reincarnate, and then you just sort of have this downturn. And I understand this. They even like talk about it as being limbo and how other players get to move. But it's hard as a player not to sort of be disappointed by that turn and be disappointed by, especially like if you don't level up and you have that sort of like, it's a letdown. I, at first, sort of was like off-put by this game. As I played it more, I do like it more. The density and interesting of play is really good. The thematic pieces is really neat. I think this falls into that category of it's pretty, but it's a dense enough game that to really enjoy it, you have to play it a lot. And you know, sometimes you have to play a game a lot to get into it, and then it's not rewarding. I think this game is rewarding if you play it a lot, but you need to get that sort of like a deck builder that like people are playing quickly and doing their things and taking the turns, going around the table and moving it. Because if it slows down, it starts to sort of drag, and you feel like you're getting that the take that feels heavier than when you have a nice velocity to it. It's super interesting. If you are interested in the theme, the idea of reincarnation and future, this life and the future, it's a really interesting take on that. I do think some people will be turned off by the sort of take that and then knock down the rug. So if that's not a real turnoff for you, it's worth checking out. And certainly if you see this at a con or otherwise, worth playing. Absolutely worth checking out and seeing what it's like. But certainly it may not be for everyone. So subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.